Okay, gonna call the meeting to order of September 19th, 2022. Can you stand with me for the pledge?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. I have the general fund warrants dated September 16th, 2022 in the amount of $111,656.58. We have direct payment. I think that was for like $17,000 to the city of St. Albans. Green Mountain Power as usual, pretty much, plus some insurance stuff. Other than that, pretty much run of the mill stuff. If anybody wants to make a motion to approve this general fund warrant.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Brendan has the infrastructure development, Stonehouse warrant, and
Oh yeah, got industrial park, Stonehouse, infrastructure development, stormwater, give me all the fun ones. Okay, so the Stonehouse warrant, all related to, different events we've done, and then the extra portalets we've needed. So it's a Stonehouse warrant dated September 19th, 2022, and the amount of $2,495.00. And all of this money will be kind of reimbursed to the fund with money we've already collected from sponsorships. So I'll make a motion, we approve that warrant.
Second.
any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye. Okay, so we've got the infrastructure development warrant, it's all related to the town hall, September 19th, 2022. The amount of $1,814.38. The lion's share goes to PCI, Peterson Consulting, and then you get a $450 invoice to Ruggiano Engineering. So, Town Hall Cost Center Infrastructure Development Warrant, September 19th, 2022, $1,814.38. Make a motion, we approve.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
And we've got some awesome stuff from the state of Vermont. They actually sent us a bill for $100 for a directional sign for the industrial park, so we're gonna pay them for this. So the industrial park warrant, got our normal 3 invoices for the sewage pump, road lights, and street sign lights from Green Mountain Power, and then just that extra invoice to V-Trans for a directional sign at the cost of $100. So industrial park warrant, September 19th, 2022, $817.34. Make a motion, we approve.
Second. Got it, Jack.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, so we've got a couple of different things going on here. With the stormwater utility warrant, we're working on a couple different projects, trying to get engineering plans straightened out. Make sure we're ready to capture some of these state and federal funds that could be coming our way. It makes sense to do this work. It's required of us by 2034 and 2035 for phosphorus and flow restorations. So it's a stormwater utility warrant. There's 3 invoices. 2 go to different engineering consultants. That makes up all but $180, which went to our attorneys for a legal opinion on something. So stormwater utility warrant, September 19th, 2022, $16,130.63. Make a motion, we approve.
Second that.
Any further discussion?
Yeah, what are these 2 things they're working on?
So one's Rice Brook.
And the other one, I think, is our phosphorus control plan. I was
Right.
gonna say PCP.
Yeah.
Sounds
So which one's doing which?
Watershed Consulting is doing the phosphorus control plan.
Yeah, Jack, if you wanna see this invoice, they've got a whole summary of all the invoices to include different aspects of their budget. To show, this was phase 1, this phase 2, it goes all the way out to phase 5, and then it has costs for each phase broken out, and it shows exactly what they're billing for, which phase, and how much that we have left to pay them, which it looks like this is the very final installment. So that's a really well done invoice from the watershed consulting team. And then the Aldrich and Elliott invoice for a little under $5,700 is all related to the Gracebrook stormwater treatment thing, and that's
What are we gonna do, build a pond up there or something?
well, Gracebrook, I think we're working with the city.
Or the town,
Yeah.
into the school district, I mean.
Yeah, so we're doing Maple Run, the city. There was some engineering that was already done for a project up that way. Then we hired Emily, and she quickly learned that the engineering wasn't designed well enough for the amount of water that would be put through it. So there's a lot of redesigning and tweaking going on.
So what are they gonna do it down on the school property?
I thought it was going across the road, across 7, wasn't it, or no?
That part I don't know.
They're doing something, but I'm not sure if it's a combination of a pond or a gravel wetland, 'cause they don't actually like ponds anymore as much. But there's so much water over there, it's gonna be a combo. She was talking to the cemetery association as well, just using a little bit of the edge, 'cause that on its face sounds really horrible, but we're not flooding the cemetery.
You see the state has had, was it Percy excavating up on the interstate all summer, putting in stormwater treatment
No.
devices?
Dumping that dirt at my place.
They are? They're running some of it out to the Highgate Airport too.
Yeah, they put some in Georgia,
Yeah.
but it's gotta be, I can only take urban dirt.
Right.
Believe it or not. I tried to find 9 places that would take it.
Wow.
And the state approved my pasture,
As urban,
urban, because it's right next to the interstate.
It's all topsoil, isn't it?
Boulders are getting pretty big.
Oh.
The plan was to make it mowable, but
Well, if you get enough big boulders, set them aside, and people who have wetland permits will be after you to buy them to demarcate their boundaries.
Okay, so we had a motion and a second on the floor.
Yeah.
All in favor?
Alright.
Okay, Brian, you have the payroll warrant.
Alright, so 2 payroll warrants, one September 2nd, 2022. That one's in the amount of $23,678.64. And the other payroll warrant dated September 9th, 2022. That one's similar. That one's $24,176.11. So this is one of the times where there's no payroll warrants with agency checks in, so both of them are
there should be,
lower than the big one.
3 there.
Oh, are they stapled together?
I don't know, there's a September 2nd, 9th, and 16th.
Three of them.
Oh. Let me amend that slightly. There's a third one as well, in addition to those. But all about the same. So September 16th, 2022, this one's in the amount of $23,182.03. They'll still stand, there's no agency checks on any of them, but there are 3. So I make a motion, we accept all 3 payroll warrants.
second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, done with the warrants, move on to the minutes. In front of you, you have the minutes of the regular meeting on September 7th and the special meeting on September 1st. Anybody wanna make a motion to approve those minutes?
So, no, second.
Okay, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, public comment. Anybody here like to make a public comment? Okay, hearing none. So, anybody wanna make a motion to recess the select board meeting and open up as a liquor control board?
So move.
I'll second it.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Brendan has the first-class license for American Dream Restaurants, which is formerly known as Pizza Hut, or doing business as Pizza Hut.
No, it's there was another LLC that was using Pizza Hut as a DBA before. The catalyst for this is that Pizza Hut sold to a new owner, so they're reprocessing licenses. Are we? Anna's not here.
Correct,
Are
I
we
didn't hear
aware of
any
any
issues, I'm texting her right now, but I'm not
She would have been on by
personally sending. Yeah.
She wouldn't. This wouldn't have made it this far without us hearing
Correct.
about it. So I'll make a motion that we approve this license.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, anybody wanna make a motion to close the liquor control board? reconvene as a select board.
I'll second that.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, town manager's report. Carrie, take it away.
Oh, excellent. So the first item we have here is the monthly update from Sheriff Langevin.
I had sent earlier to Carrie the monthly update as to what deputies were up to and whatnot. Pretty much countywide, we're fighting a retail theft ring, if you will. And it's kind of not just contained to Franklin County, we're dealing with Chittenden County police agencies as well as Orleans County agencies. The bulk of it for us is a lot has been stolen out of Albans Town, but also a lot of it up towards the Richford, Enosburg area. We've recovered a lot of stuff. Takes a lot of time investigating that stuff, so we're not spending as much time on the roads, maybe patrolling as we should. We're doing a little more investigating. But the good news is we're making arrests and we're recovering property. And I don't expect that to slow down anytime soon. The drug trade right now is blooming, if you will, they're blossoming. And these guys have drug bills in which to pay, and that's the motivation for all the thefts behind the thefts, or most of them. As far as the sheriff's office, we're fully staffed for what we have for contracts. I'm not taking any new business until we hire more people or find more people. And we have hired 2 individuals. We have one that's going now through the Level 2 Academy. She wants to be an SRO. I think she'll make an excellent SRO. And we have one returning deputy who had left us a couple years ago to go train overseas police officers and stuff, and he's coming back, and we're now just getting him back up to being fully certified. So we'll have a couple more deputies here within the next, hopefully 2 to 3 weeks or a month. We're scheduled to get 2 more new police cruisers. We've ordered them. Hopefully the May timeframe works out for us. That hasn't been the case. We're probably looking more like November, December timeframe if I had to guess. Nothing is still coming in on time. Aside from that, if you guys have any questions for us, for me.
I was gonna ask, seen a lot of social media posts too, like McQuam Shore.
Yep.
They want a quite clear video and stuff. Is there, hopefully that's stopping? Or is there just been a lot of crime down that way? And I've heard of other ones, I know it's not St. Albans Town, but up my way where I live in, on 105 in the Swan and Sheldon area. And more break-ins up there too.
Yep.
Is that just increasing, or are we just hearing more about it because it's on?
No,
social media?
it's increasing. I mean, no doubt. Again, Brian, it goes a lot with the drug trade. We have our individual on the Vermont Drug Task Force, and so we get some good information as to who these players are and what their motivation is, and it's to pay their drug bills.
Any idea why you're saying that drugs are blossoming? Is there a reason? Is it just here, or is it like everywhere?
Oh no, it's statewide, it's nationwide.
Yeah.
Everybody's got the epidemic of the drugs, I think. But it just seems to have gotten a lot worse as of late. It really seems to have really come to a head, and everything's getting stolen. I mean, and they're brazen, and they owe a lot of money, so they're stealing big ticket items like ATVs, for example. We had a theft from Champlain Valley Equipment of 4 ATVs. We're fortunate we've recovered 2. We may have another one that we just recovered tonight. As I was leaving to come down here and stuff, one of our deputies was standing post where he thought another ATV might be. And we did a search warrant this past weekend up in Richford on a Saturday morning, good and early. And that yielded a lot of stolen property as well. I'm hoping some of these people get locked up and taken out of the game for a while to give us a breather, because we seem to be chasing the same people just over and over again.
That's what I was gonna ask. Does it seem like it's a few people doing a lot of stuff, or a lot of people doing a little bit?
Once you get a lot of publicity on that and whatnot, I think other people get into it. But primarily I think it's a crew. And like I said, they're crossing counties, which make it a little tougher for us because we deal with other agencies as well, and a lot of hands get in the soup. We're not in total control. But we're working with, like I said, in Chittenden County, same thing. The one on McQuam Shore, that was a stolen car out of Chittenden County that was being used for the pickup truck. And he's doing burglaries here in Franklin County. you know, and then we have some up in Enosburg, Richford area, they're doing burglaries up that way, and they're holding their stuff up in Derby, and stuff, so. Yeah, just a lot of stuff going on and crossing, like I said, county lines, and that takes time to investigate and send your deputies out there, and it takes time from being off the road. We still have the motor vehicle complaints that have come in, and we know that. You know, there's certainly no lack of motor vehicle enforcement opportunities for us, but we need to prioritize right now. We're kind of like concentrating on some search warrants and recovering property and getting people hopefully incarcerated to slow things down.
Go ahead,
Sure. Do you think robberies are occurring in occupied houses or empty houses?
Haven't heard of any occupied home invasions. That's not to say they wouldn't, but no, we haven't had many of those home invasions. Yep.
Okay.
And the cameras, like you had mentioned,
Are those
one on
helpful?
McQuam, very helpful.
I mean,
They're clear too, high quality.
Yeah.
the one on McQuam was, I was just wondering how you guys doing tracking that fella down? I mean, since he stole the car, that would have made it way easier.
Yep.
Cause how many white ridge lines are there? 10?
Right.
Got a stolen vehicle, now you gotta chase somebody.
Right. Yep. The state police had chased that car and turned off into a cornfield, and they terminated the pursuit. And then the car was later found abandoned in the city with a lot of stolen property in it. So
And I think that particular homeowner with the camera got his items back,
he did.
so that was
Good.
good.
Yeah. And today we returned some more stuff too. A lot of like a Paz load air nailer or framing nailer. It's the best feeling in the world to get back to their property and stuff, but now we got to put an end to it if we can just stop it from happening. Because there's a lot of it out there.
And are you seeing any particular areas where the drug traffic is heavier than others? Like where are people doing most of their transacting?
Personally, I think it's up towards Enosburg, Richford area right now. But they move, they're down here in St. Albans Town, stealing a lot of their stuff.
Or like the drug dealing more or less, like if you were working specifically the drug side of it, would you say it's happening, partially in town, or is it?
Oh, there's no question it's here, but I think it is more prevalent out east.
So I wonder if that, just to hypothesize, I mean, I know former Chief Taylor had said at the time that he was lobbying the town for our half of the street crimes unit, that if that consistent drug work happened for years at a time, that particular activity would get pushed from St. Albans into other communities. Do you think that's something that could have happened? Is it more around here and more prevalent up that way? Or is it the same as it's always been?
I think it's the same as it's always been. I think we're fortunate here in St. Albans Town, you have a 24/7 police agency, and we do get around, we circulate. Those other areas we're up there, the sheriff's office is up there for 8 hours, 5 days a week. We do what we can in those hours, but I've been saying for years, there's not enough of us out there to really grab control and
Been seeing a
make
lot
a
of
big difference.
a lot of comments on social media, these posts, every time somebody has a piece of stolen property, whether it's a car or a bicycle, it goes viral, Franklin County viral at least. And you have a lot of people that live in towns outside of St. Albans, and outside of maybe Swanton Village that are saying, we don't have police out here, like, it's not the good old days, like, there is no consistent police force this way, so I don't know, hopefully nobody, hopefully like vigilante activity doesn't pick up if this stuff doesn't, curtail itself, but.
And law enforcement is experienced the same thing like other businesses have, between wages and benefits that you gotta increase to keep your personnel. It's not cheap to have law enforcement, these smaller outer towns are having a tough time struggling to increase their policing.
Well, as you know, I mean, law enforcement is our largest, one of our largest single expenses next to our fire department and public works department, and it's because we as a municipality prioritize 24/7 coverage and we bolster it during busy times. So we're lucky.
Yep.
We're very lucky to have that.
Yeah, and I think that's why you see, like I say the drug trade is more up east than it is here. For that reason, they see a lot of police down here. Between St. Albans Police, the sheriff's down here in the town. State Police Barracks is in St. Albans Town as well. And we do all communicate with each other. You know, if we get a suspect on something, we share that and they share it with us, and we work things jointly together. Doesn't matter to me who gets credit for what, as long as we get somebody off the street and we improve the quality of life and people stop getting things stolen. You know, because you're right, Brendan, it's gonna happen where somebody takes it into their own hands and somebody walks into the wrong house and,
I saw,
you know, gets,
in the last couple of days, I've seen at least 3 posts from just private people posting, you know, go steal my stuff, like I keep my firearm by the front door, so to speak. And it's just, it's nerve-wracking that it's gonna turn into that. Somebody's gonna steal something from the wrong person and end up seriously hurt or killed, like, that's where all this is headed.
people don't like to feel afraid in their own home.
No, and nobody should have to, but it's unfortunate because now that people are thinking about this and it's prevalent and it's everywhere you look, you know, especially the last couple of weeks, people are ready for it. You know, the motion lights are on, you know, people are ready for it. And
Yep.
people are locked and loaded too, so hopefully we don't have any really terrible incidents, but
We're locked and loaded at our house, only it's for raccoons,
yeah,
numerous raccoons.
it'd be scary around here.
Okay.
If you get any calls about gunfire out our way in the middle of the night,
Don't hurt them, they're okay.
Perfect.
I'll refrain from comment.
Anybody else have any questions for the sheriff? Perfect. Thank you, Robin.
Thank you.
Ron.
Thank you.
The next item is the town hall update. Natty was gonna zoom in, which I think I can try again in a couple minutes, but, are there any questions for him? I mean, the town hall project hasn't, the bills were light as indicative of the work that's been done the last couple weeks, but DW is on it, the parts have been ordered, and now we're just waiting for them to arrive, so they can install them as soon as possible.
It sounded like you say the time frame was 2 weeks shorter than we originally heard, is that something like that?
About that, yeah, I
It's
mean,
not longer.
when Dave Chevalier ordered it, he had said, I think it was 4 to 6 weeks, maybe 7 on the RO, but that, he ordered it the next day, so it's been a couple weeks already.
Was there some other outstanding work that needed to be done there that was gonna kind of go along that timeline as well? And is that?
There's a little bit of work, DW just did a punch, actually, Jesse, our architect, did a punch list on the new storefront work that was just done, and there's some things that hadn't been completed that, he wrote up a detailed, a list for DW to work on Friday, I think it was. So they're gonna be working on that. The building wasn't really substantially complete, and it hasn't been certified substantially complete yet because of things like that.
Yep.
We were working a little bit on, there's a condensation issue in the lobby, but I think we're gonna be able to adjust some HVAC. And yeah, the water obviously is the last thing, but there were some last thing. There's some other items like the big, beautiful glass door that's in the lobby that goes to the big, meeting room. We got the replacement doors in 2 weeks ago and they were wrong. So, they were reordered. Pella and DW apologized profusely, but that's on order again. I mean, they shut, they're just, it's almost like it was an outside door that's being put on the inside of a building and they weren't consistent. So they're certainly not gonna stop us from using it, it's just problematic because there's such a long lead time on those doors, they're specialty items. They're just things like that, but, Dave Chevalier said he was gonna try to put the pump in and get the well ready, and DW's been in contact with the subs, like electrical and plumbing, so they're ready and can do the inside and outside stuff, as soon as possible, as soon as we get the parts. And the tank was ordered as well, that had also like a 4 or 5 week lead time, but that's not gonna stop us necessarily from occupying, because we do have a temporary tank that's residing over at the Brigham Farm right now.
sap tank,
Yeah,
I need
So-
it back by March.
okay, well, I hope we can get you that well in advance. Yeah, so that's what we're doing on that. So the next item might generate a little bit of discussion, but, so disposal of town assets. So what we're talking about, I sent you the policy that we put into place a few months ago. We had, and Corey, just arrived, Corey Parent worked with Corey Grattan and John Montagne to go through the, garage and the salt shed area. Largely on the outside, we focused on equipment and cleaning out things before winter time, kinda like most of us do at our own homes, or we try, or we think about it. So there's some items there that we do not need to retain, but per the disposal of assets policy, we're supposed to discuss it. I would suggest as an an additional policy that perhaps the donors of a few of these items be asked before we, of course, give them away. There's a few items on here, like a flagpole that was donated, we ended up not using it, we very much appreciate it, but it didn't get used because there was a different flagpole that the building committee at the time, put up at town hall. The greenhouse equipment, if there's anything left, the owner of that, must have heard that we were thinking about getting rid of it and asked if he could have them back, he would come and take them away. I think some of those parts might already be gone, but, you know, that's fine, it was a donation. And Corey was gonna work with them, I'm not sure if we've contacted them, but, you know, things like the boards, the hockey boards, I'm not sure that our crew is, 100% on trying to do a rink here again. It was mildly successful, but it seemed more popular just to keep the ice clear, the really shallow part of the lake, so. We were thinking of either donating it back to them or offering them to another nonprofit. I was contacted today by the town of Georgia, who was pretty interested in that actually, which to me would be a great second choice if SASA didn't mind, since they would offer it to the public as well. But things like that, so those items to me, we need to work through the donors first. But some of the other items, we're kind of proposing just to put an ad out and say, hey, can you bid on these things, give us a fair price for them, and if no one bids on them, then maybe we sell them or offer them as a first come, first served basis.
What else you got?
Well, the list is
So you're
things
kind of
like,
towards the middle end.
It starts with Zamboni and school boards.
Can I trade you the flagpole for something else I might want?
We got 500 bowling pins.
yeah, we have a lot of bowling pins.
How about the lawn tractor?
The lawn tractor is something that.
Christmas decoration.
Yeah,
How about the boat? I need
Hockey
a boat.
boards.
We got a lot of Christmas
You
decorations.
got a little tin boat.
some of those we will use, we're still planning to do the holiday
You know, I
jam.
could really use a Zamboni.
Everybody needs a Samboni,
Everybody.
just so you can say you have one.
Yeah.
But you know, most of those items are equipment and small items, we're not talking about plow trucks or, well, we didn't really explain what was on the list, so we're not talking about our plow trucks or the,
Most of the stuff would be, we assume would be under $1,000 in value per item.
Right.
Do they work, some of these things? Or are they just junk?
the equipment near the bottom of the list doesn't work, it needs repairs.
I mean, the lawn tractor
yeah.
and the air compressor and pressure washer.
But like the town of Georgia, actually just this summer realized they need to replace their docks and wanted the docks, wanted a few of them, not all of them. So, you know, nonprofits, usually municipalities,
Can we authorize,
you know,
So-
do that kind of favor to other towns.
been a minute since I read the disposal of assets policy.
Yeah,
in detail.
I know, I read it again too,
Can we authorize you to just move forward at, because what you're saying makes sense, contact the donors of high ticket items that were donated, then move, like, can we just authorize you to handle this? And then just let us know how you make out?
I can push it forward, but I mean, I still like the idea of putting it out there and
Yeah, no,
advertising so
Whatever you
that,
wanna do, but
Yeah.
like, this seems like a,
it's just, you know, it's to have this
Well,
process in place, so if somebody,
Yeah, you're gonna have to spread the word around and get rid of some of this stuff.
yeah. 500
absolutely,
bowling pins at the
You gotta
bowling
just-
pin.
Well,
You
That's
gotta
right.
find
But
the
what we
right
want-
person.
Well, I think what we want to do is put an ad out and give people an opportunity to put a bid in or something. If no one does, then someone shows up and offers $100 for the bowling pins or $50, we just, like almost like a garage sale, be like, yeah, sure, take them.
Now, how do we get rolling?
It's not,
Well,
it's
see,
not
that-
whatever you wanna
Rolling
do.
pins?
Yeah. It's
The
what you
town?
wanna do,
Good
and
question.
you just hit it
We,
right ahead.
Shit,
A
where
list
did
needs
it
to be
come
put
from?
out for the public to read.
Well, that's what I'm saying, she's
Yeah, you
following,
did, you said whatever you wanna do,
meaning
I'm
what you
gonna put it
presented,
out.
yeah.
what you
I know
presented
that.
and what you said, so that's
but,
that's a little out
You know,
of, out
but
of
where do you
pocket.
put the list? You put it in our almost non-existent newspaper or
Probably not.
you
Probably
put it
on our-
online?
We would put it on our
Webpage.
website. We follow the process where our policy says you have to put it on social media, on the website, and in the paper. So I think we do all three.
Okay.
Front
Yep.
porch forum,
And then have it up for a number, whatever the policy says for weeks.
Yeah.
We'll follow that part of the policy. It's just, I don't think it makes sense to put a bid out for each individual item and
No.
have a different ad for each item. Just
Does that mean there'll be a free pile at the end of the driveway?
Well, we're,
some of the stuff I
Exactly,
bet.
Do you,
Yeah.
it's just,
Or the
it's a miracle
bins,
what
any
photos
bid or
and a
visual.
short ad can do.
I don't. I
What
haven't
was the
really looked at them. They were taken from. I think Lise Gates was getting rid
They
of
were.
them.
Or donated,
Well, Lise was getting rid of them, and
yeah, she wanted,
we went up and grabbed them all. I think the original agreement was to grab a couple dozen, but the idea was to create a new kind of game throwing footballs that you knock them down at a distance, and they built a bunch of boards. So it's called fouling. All that will be on the list if anyone wants to bid on.
No, why, when did we do this and why?
A couple winters ago, it was something our DPW wanted to do.
Where'd you been?
no,
Okay. So I think Carrie has a direction on this.
I sure do.
that's what I'm,
And we will put out an ad,
Perfect.
and you'll rate it however you want.
We could
I
have
will
like a,
follow the regulations,
should do like
which is
a
why I'm
garage
talking to you
sale.
guys all about it. Except for that, I think there's something on the list about expired,
Yeah,
construction material, we're gonna throw that away, so
They're
we're gonna make that call.
it's weird that was in the
The last item on here is second to last, Old Town Hall fact sheet. So the intent for putting this on the agenda was, to show you the two bits of information the assessor, compiled. So one of them was just a quick version of information that Jen worked with Megan and Bill Hinman, the assessor, to look at what zoning was available, what was allowed in this zone. But then also Bill said one of the other things that as an assessor he would suggest is doing this analysis of the highest and best use of the property. So you got that today, not probably time to read it, it's 3 pages long. But given these two pieces of information, what I was hoping to get from you tonight is, are you ready to hold a meeting perhaps in November? To talk about the town hall again? There was a few questions from people at the last meeting, legitimate questions, and we were trying to get as much as we could in more or less a flyer. So this isn't complete, but
Right.
I put it all together and,
So we just agree that we wanna have a meeting and then maybe get your feedback on this individually?
correct.
Okay, that makes sense.
It sounds good to me. The quicker we deal with this after we're out of here, the better.
Right, we've gotta start it moving now, it's gonna take a little bit, so. He's just talking about that, the question in that one was, really at the end in his summary that perhaps we should have our septic analyzed, and maybe if we could improve it, it would increase the value of the building, should we decide to sell it. That's the short version.
Do you want comments on that? or-
Not today, but that's, I'm just like, below, that's roughly what the 3 pages, he goes over the 4 different, criteria he used to analyze this property.
Will you be putting that on the page also?
We can put it on our website, is that what you're asking?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It's like I say, we don't have much around here anymore for media.
It's true.
That's,
We could probably give you a
Seems
paper
like
copy to
even
go
when
home
you
with.
read articles in the paper, it's like sponsored
good,
content.
no,
Yeah, we have a couple of
You're gonna do
copies.
some revisions and stuff,
Well, it's
that's,
important.
Well, this
Hire a
one is
realtor,
just
pay
gives
for
you an
it.
idea, you can read through it,
What's that?
knowing these guys can get other copies.
It seems like
so.
even when you read the local paper, half the articles you read are starting to turn into the sponsored content that I never thought would make its way into, a 5 or 6 day a week paper that we used to have, let alone the 2 day a week.
yeah.
Why it's important to hire a realtor, sponsored by a realtor. It's like, what's that do for anybody? But
What's the free press now? Obituaries and restaurants,
Yeah, that's
I
it.
don't know.
Do they have
Unreal.
comics on the weekend?
left side front page.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Free press.
Pre-press in the day.
We don't let you sign here anyway, it's driving me nuts. Alright, so the last item is just you're getting copied on an Act 250 filing, and I don't have any other surprises for you at this time.
Okay, on your schedule, the next select board meeting are Monday, October 3rd and Monday, October 17th at 6:30 PM. Anybody have any other business?
When did we say we were starting budget, wasn't it in October?
26.
Yeah, in the morning.
Yeah,
Oh, in the morning,
Mm-hmm, 8 o'clock in the morning,
okay.
8:30.
Can't get up that early.
Get up early so you can get breakfast.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I just wanna meet at the Green Mountain Cafe, leave it there.
Sure.
We're gonna be here
Question in the
most
audience.
of the day.
There'll be a lot of audience members up there that time.
Go ahead, Paul.
Yeah, I just wanna say thank you for getting those ratty flags down. It's unfortunate it took so long, but I know people drive through that, you don't look at it, but you know Georgia. And that was one of the nicest things you ever did down there, when you put those flags up, and that's why we did it up here. And I remember a couple of years, my grandsons and I went out with a ladder and had to put them up.
My kids.
Yeah, to get Public Works to do it for some reason.
Volunteered.
But are you gonna replace
I came
those?
home from work, they were all climbing ladders.
Yeah, we went the whole way. Are you gonna replace those now? That's the other thing, are they gonna be up until not Memorial Day?
I have no
Veterans Day?
intention of putting them in right now, I mean, I'm not sure if they bought any, cause we are
Well,
short
They
staffed.
got beaten up down there pretty
They
good.
do.
Yeah,
Probably next spring.
Well, we buy a special flag Bob Cross recommended for the building just because of the wind
The
down
wind is
here.
terrible.
Really rips them apart.
but
Yeah.
that's an asset to the town,
Yeah.
at least between Memorial Day and Veterans Day. It really shows us off. And if Georgia can do it, we can do it.
Thank you, Paul.
That was beautiful.
What
coming
time
to
is that
Georgia
meeting on the
today.
26th?
Yeah, it is, it looks good.
Yeah, it
It
does
does
look
look
good.
In the morning,
Especially
so
your
I
veterans
think-
days coming.
Anybody else have any other business?
Yeah, I've got one. Kind of been elephant in the room the last several odd weeks, but I think it's time that one or all of us make our opinions known on this race for sheriff. Seeing that now the Democrats finally, after a couple, 3 weeks, have decided to back Lieutenant Mark Lauer. Republicans were right on it. So we've got a write-in candidate backed by both parties. I think I've done my research on Mark. I don't know him personally. Tonight was one of the first or second times I ever met him. Didn't talk to him, but based on his record, I'd be more than happy to vote for him and support him. But I think we gotta go one step further and even say that Gail Messier should end his bid. It doesn't help to have two write-ins at once. And we've got one that both parties have backed. We need to rally behind that person, or we'll end up with a lot stickier situation come November 10th. So I'll go as far as to call on Gail Messier to end his campaign. And I'm gonna come out and endorse Mark Lauer for sheriff, and would welcome you all to do the same if you so chose. But that's my 2 cents.
Well, I also, I guess everybody knows, but I found the town mower. And it's being worked on. Hopefully we get it back by spring.
Perfect, thank you on that, Jack. Okay, anybody have any other business? Okay, so anybody wanna make a motion to go into executive session to discuss a contractual personnel matter where premature general public knowledge of the subject matter would place the town or person involved at a substantial disadvantage. It's further moved to enter into executive session to discuss a contractual and personnel matter under the provision Title 1, Section 313A1 of the Vermont statute and to invite the town manager, Kerry Johnson, Al Vogel, interim director of operations. Corey coming too?
I don't think so.
Okay,
I just here for the list.
okay, perfect.
In case you
Will
have
there
a
be a
question.
motion after the meeting?
Probably
Not
not.
expected, no.
Will a decision be made at the meeting?
No. I don't think so.
We don't do this. water, sewer. And do something like consensus, horrible mistake.
So, you're looking for a motion?
I'm looking for a motion.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.